Hello, BookTube, and welcome to day 24 of Vlogmas. This has been an incredibly long and fun month of vlogging. I finally figured out the allure of vlogging, but it's kind of an odd thing because I vlog anyway, right? I mean, I'm here in front of you every day anyway. It's just, I think the key for vlogging for me is slightly different things, the emphasis on doing slightly different things. And unfortunately, it underscores that I don't do much. I don't do much that's different. I don't do much that strays away from dogs or books. But, as you can tell, I have been invited to Vermont for Christmas, and I'm in the 200-year-old farmhouse, and we went out and about, and today I did my last book shopping of 2018. And the places that we went, oh my, had so much variety that I found stuff other than books. So I thought I'd start with the stuff that isn't books, and then we'll wrap up with the books. And the first thing I found that isn't a book is a blanket. I found an enormous blanket. Just a fine thing for $3. Good Lord. And then, just like the last time I was here, I found a stack of single-issue comic books. The bulk of these are the Legion of Superheroes, which I don't have all of the collections, and not all of the great eras from the Legion are collected anyway. But the very first thing I found was an issue of Conan the Barbarian. And though some of you who know the old Marvel Comics run of Conan the Barbarian will recognize this issue. This is Death on the Black Coast. This is the great issue in which Conan's pirate queen lover, Baylit, succumbs to the allure of unhealthy gems in a weird part of the coast that is haunted by a strange alien being. Let me show you the strange alien being. And those of you who know the story will know that Robert E. Howard worked in a beautiful moment at the end of The Queen of the Black Coast, and Marvel Comics does a fantastic job in this issue bringing that moment to life. And then 35 years later, Dark Horse, when they had the Conan franchise, did the story all over again and also did a fantastic job. So, but mainly what I got were Legion of Superhero comics. Those of you who are perhaps new to the channel, the Legion of Superheroes is a 50-year-old superhero team of superpowered teenagers from many different worlds fighting crime in the 30th century. And it's had a rocky and patchy and passionate history all throughout DC Comics. It is not currently a comic book, but it's had many great eras, and I found single issues from all kinds of great eras. Those of you, not many of you who will know the Legion, but for instance, there's this Legion of Superheroes number 4. This is from they periodically stopped and redid the numbering, and as you can, those of you who will know this issue, one of the Legion stalwarts, Karate Kid, meets his end in this issue. But also, what else did I got? There were other great moments. Yes, Keith Giffen, his huge time trapper storyline culminates in issue number 50 of that run, and also slightly after issue number 50 of that run, Keith Giffen starts to experiment not only with a new art style, but with new costumes and a slightly older look to the Legion. That was right in the run-up to the 5 Years Later saga that I mentioned last time I was here. He was already experimenting with that kind of thing. But I got some other... oh yes, in the 5 Years Later saga, I got issue number 13, which is all Keith Giffen, and also has... the issue has a fold-out poster of the team on the inside, and somebody left it in this issue. This issue still has the poster. But also a little later than that, in this 5 Year Later saga, are those of you who know this era will know the two issues, The End and Beginnings. The End is when the Earth, the planet Earth, pays the price for millennia of environmental mishandling, and the planet dies. The planet Earth explodes, and all the people leave it. And I loved reading it at the time, even though part of me rebelled at the idea of a far future in the Legion of Superheroes in which there's no Earth. And also, one of the issues that I got introduces Legionnaires, a batch of what we thought were clones of the original Legion, only much younger, with great Chris Sprouse artwork. So it was tremendous fun to go back into that corner and see a pile of comic books that were just ripe for the harvesting. But there were also books. I want to show you a book, starting with a kid's book. This is A Starlet Somersault Downhill, with words by Nancy Willard and artwork by Jerry Pinkney. And it's about, the story is about the winter's coming, the leaves are all falling, snow is starting to squall, and a rabbit decides to bed down with a bear in his den, figuring it's nice and warm and also incredibly safe. But of course, the rabbit runs into trouble right away because the bear isn't going to sleep for the night. The bear is hibernating, and rabbits don't do that. So the rabbit gets antsy and starts to think, maybe I need to leave. And the thing that struck me about this is that it's in rhyming couplets, which is kind of weird. The rabbit sighed, how ripe and sweet this patch of clover by my feet. The fields are broad, the hills are wide. A pity we should stay inside. That's a little thing that you don't often see in kids' books anymore, rhyming couplets like that. So I got a kids' book. I grab kids' books if I can, especially if they look really good and are going to be, as this one is, a pleasure to read out loud. But I also got Arctic Dreams in a hardcover by Barry Lopez. This is his meditation on the Arctic regions of the Earth. And I got it not only because I love Arctic Dreams and don't have a copy, and this was dirt cheap, but also because, as a cause for rejoicing, Barry Lopez has a new book coming out in 2019, a great big thing. Anybody who's read him, if you've read Of Wolves and Men or Arctic Dreams or whatever, then you're going to jump for joy when you hear that. I certainly did. Then I found, by June Osborne, an interesting twist on a history book. This is Entertaining Elizabeth I. And it's a history. There's lots and lots of sourced material in here. But what the book mainly is sort of a biographical look at the various Elizabethan country houses that hosted Queen Elizabeth when she went on Progress, which was no small thing. She brought most of her court with her, and they all had to be quartered, and she wasn't going to pay a dime. so there were only a few houses that could do that, and it ruined some and made the reputation of others. So, and I don't think I ever knew that a book like this existed that is just mainly a tour of the houses where Elizabeth went and stayed. So I was glad to get it. Again, all of these were dirt cheap. Then also, there's this, The Bedford Companion to Shakespeare. This is a fantastic. I remember I've mentioned on this channel that out of the millions and millions of books on Shakespeare, there is one shelf worth that you absolutely have to have. Whether it's editions of his work or, studies of him or even attempts at biography. And this is one of those books. And I had it once upon a time, a long time ago, and gave it away. Somebody who's looking for a really good companion on Shakespeare, and there is none better. So I grabbed it. I grabbed it when I saw it today. And then today also provided a treat that we had last time. Last time I found a couple of hardcover romance novels. Kind of a rarity. You don't see them that often. And today I found one as well from the great Christina Dodd. This is The Prince Kidnaps a Bride. And it was dirt cheap, so I grabbed it. Once upon a time, 3 princesses were forced to flee their kingdom in the Pyrenees, vanishing without a trace, until the day a prince can bring each princess home. I gladly reread the other hardcovers that I found here. And then the last books that I got were a trilogy that I've mentioned on this channel before. I've praised it on this channel before. I've praised it in this house before. And I found the trilogy they're in relatively good condition. I will reinforce these and they'll be fine. This is The Centennial History of the Civil War by Bruce Catton, all 3 volumes. So you have The Coming Fury, Terrible Swift Sword, and Never Call Retreat. And these are, it's a bit of a bulky thing to get 3 big hardcovers and then lug them back to Boston, but these are books that belong, in my little book room. I love them. They are endlessly eloquent. If you've read stuff on the American Civil War and you haven't read Bruce Catton, you should find him at the library or at a yard sale and read him because he's amazing. And that's it. I got a blankie, I got a bunch of comics, and I got a bunch of books. So that was my my last book outing for 2018, and that is I think the end of Vlogmas. Is that the end of Vlogmas? Maybe there's a Vlogmas for tomorrow? I don't know. We'll find out. I'll find out, and if so, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.